If you've been following along with this astro series that we've been doing, or if you've been following any astrology accounts this year, you know that this is a really momentous year, 2025, because so many planets are changing signs, and these are planets that take a long time to change signs. So it's really signaling a changing of eras in a big way, which corroborates the human design changing of paradigm that's happening in 2027. And this is just a way that we can describe the procession of how the energy is unfolding. We've covered Neptune and Saturn coming together in the last video, which is the summer energetics of 2025. And now actually comes to the one that is most exciting to me, which is the planet Uranus that's moving into Gemini. Now, Uranus takes 84 years to go around the sun. And so on average, since there are 12 signs, it spends about 7 years in each sign. So for the past 7 years, Uranus, which is the planet that governs innovation, things happening out of nowhere, changes that are maybe sudden or shocking or disruptive, and all for the purpose of being out of the box, being forward thinking, being ahead of its time, pushing us forward in terms of the ways that we move through the world. It's the planet that actually rules Aquarius. So very Aquarian themes here with Uranus. So Uranus has been in the sign of Taurus for the last 7 years. And Taurus is all about money and physical resources and self-worth and physicality, things that are earthly. And so we have seen with Uranus there, we've seen disruptions in currency, disruptions in commodities like gold and other precious metals, and also supply chain issues globally, issues of tariffs coming up, ships getting stuck in canals, farmers being in revolution because they don't get paid enough, right? Because they're the ones who are making the commodities, and so on and so forth. Your brain can fill in the different things that have happened in the last 7 years in terms of disruption that have happened in these areas. We've also seen the introduction of cryptocurrency, which is an innovation of sorts, and we've also seen plenty of new supply issue fixes. So what I think is really interesting is that the crypto conversation really built up steam in the last 7 years, and what is going to happen now is that Uranus is going to turn its attention to other areas of our life, and it's going to turn our attention to Gemini things. So Gemini things are thinking, speaking, writing, communicating. So the reason why this is so promising is because the ways that we think and communicate are going to get revolutionized. And like everything, there is a positive expression of it and there is a negative expression of it. And so that energy is going to be present for us to play with anyway, and we will be pushed to face it and be in it. And it's simply our choice, the way we decide to engage with it, and what qualities we pull on in ourselves that maybe we didn't pull on before, or maybe we didn't pull on as hard enough to actually steer this energy the way we want it to go, the way we dream it could go, the things that we want to use it on so that we can create a positive version of this world. So imagine every astrological day in the world is almost like the universe giving you a package of energy and saying, here's the ingredients of a cake, now do with it what you will. And the flour's not bad and the eggs aren't bad, but if you crack the egg the wrong way, there's going to be shells in the cake. And so you want to make the clean break of the egg when you make that cake, right? That's the same thing that we do with our energy. So Uranus in Gemini, just like every other astrological theme, is nothing to be scared of. It is all about consciousness. Every single life's question, and there are many, always comes down to the same answer. So there are endless questions, only ever one answer, which is consciousness. Meaning that the universe creates the actual solution, which is consciousness, before it creates the problem, as a way of getting you to a higher level of embracing consciousness. So Uranus, if we are afraid of change and we feel like we're incapable and we want to stay in our old ways, Uranus is not going to be pleasant. And we cannot only accept the things that we at the moment think are good and turn a blind eye to the things that are bad. Because what we think is good in one moment in time could turn out later on to not be as good. And because time, space, and motion are speeding up, the gaps between them are closing. Something that could seem like $1 billion idea today can be zero tomorrow. So we have to get out of this idea of this is good, this is bad, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. More, what do I need to become in good moments, and also what do I need to become in bad moments, and be totally agnostic about the judgment of what is good and bad, but just learn how to swim and to play and to ride with the surprising energy that is going to be coming our way when this Uranus moves into Gemini. And in many ways, it's going to feel more personal when Uranus is in a sign like Gemini than when it is in a thing like Taurus for a lot of people, because it governs our things that we cannot give away, the things that we have to cultivate the most in order to have good consciousness, which is our thoughts and our words and our ideas and the way we communicate and express. This is like the deepest level of what makes a human being able to manifest anything in the world. So the important thing to know here is that it's more crucial than ever to not give those things away. Your thoughts in the next 7 years, your ideas, your words, and your communication is going to be more valuable than ever. And it's going to be the thing that you are going to realize is your gold. Behind every time you speak to someone about the acting job you do, every time you're in an elevator telling someone what you do for a living or what your thoughts are on the world or anything, making an unfair judgment or judging people to bond with people is going to cost us too much. Saying words you don't really mean, even if it's for an innocent reason, like just to bond with someone or have a nice, innocent conversation, going to cost us too much. We are also going to see that there is going to be a fight for ownership of our words and our ideas. There is going to be things like AI and chatbots that plagiarize us and try to mimic us and copy us. And we will be falling into trances of letting them because it seems harmless in the beginning. In the next 7 years, for sure, there's going to be a suggestion that it might be good for us to put chips in our brains. That's another thing that's going to govern our thoughts. And again, for some people that might be energetically correct, but it has to come, an aligned decision has to come from the understanding that you are sitting on a gold mine and those things are not allowed to just be used away for free because they aren't free. They never have been free. We just have recently gotten away with everybody having an opinion, everybody saying whatever they want, everyone's feeling like they can say it now because it's trendy and people will have forgotten about it in a year's time. People speaking like other people not sitting enough with themselves to think about what they really think about something, what they really feel about something, saying empty words, being too mean about other people, even people who trigger us, and our brain gives us very good justifications as to why we can and why we're good and they're bad. All of that stuff is going to have to go. To give you a little bit of hope, the positive side of Uranus and Gemini is, again, we're going to see innovations in communications and words and thoughts. So, of course, there will be some positive versions of the ways that we can use our words, the ways that we can use our thoughts, the ways that we communicate, even on just a very basic human level. I really know in my bones that people are going to have such better communication and much better intimacy because the way that we talk about ourselves and about expressing what's actually going on in our lives to a level of specificity that hasn't existed before in a wide way is going to be there. And so we are going to feel, we have the potential at least, to feel much more closely connected to people when we do use our words correctly. So many times when there's conflict, we're sort of making a general statement about what we're upset, or we're kind of speaking in a roundabout way, or we're speaking in some weird code that people don't even know how to understand because we're saying we're upset about one thing when actually what we're really upset about is something much deeper or much more, specific. And we need to start to take the time to figure these things out and to not project and to not speak until we've really sat with what it is that's bothering us or what our real state is so that someone can know where they stand with us, or someone can not take personally that we're in a bad mood, or we just feel low because of something we just did before they came into the room. So we're going to see communication really ramp up, and communication is something that helps with everything, right? It's going to help you in your work, it's going to help you in your relationships, it's going to help you in just how you feel in your body moving forward. And because it also governs thoughts, the downloads coming to all of us are going to be another level than whatever level you were at previously. And if you are someone who thinks that you are somehow not a person that gets downloads, or somehow not a person that could be psychic, or somehow not a person that could be telepathic, and that that's only reserved for special people, I would encourage you to try to unwind that belief now, because telepathy is only special, quote unquote, because it's kind of ahead of its time, or it's just not the time where it's mass at the moment, but it's going to be normal. It's not even going to be like, oh my God, I just was telepathic. And that's beautiful the first time you discover that. But on the whole, all of our sort of psychic gifts and ability to sort of, I guess, share things in the iCloud, the energetic iCloud, the consciousness iCloud with other people, or to send someone a feeling so that they know how what you're feeling in your body feels in their body, all of that is going to start to feel normal. And so we are only going to slow it down if we write ourselves out of the equation of being people who do that. There will also be another category of people who write themselves out of the full ability if they're doing it to be spiritual, if they're doing it for the label of spiritual ego, of like, look, I'm able to be psychic, or look, I'm able to do this, and that makes me feel somehow I'm using it to affirm my worth. We need to kind of think about it as a totally neutral thing of like, oh, okay, humans are all getting a software upgrade. I can either just let the software upgrade be what it is, or I can get, attach my specialness to it, or I can keep it away because I don't think I'm special, right? And both sides of that spectrum are negative. It just is. That's all. And that's how you will actually ensure that you know your psychicness is correct, because you will tap into all the wrong things if you're using psychicness to feel like you are spiritually special, advanced, any of those other taglines that we can sometimes associate with, having these gifts, which all humans do have. We just are living in a time where right now was simply not the time for most of us to move through life that way, but soon it will be. And that's that. That's all there is. And then after that, those gifts will become normal. And I'm sure that there will be another time when another level of human gifts and other uses of our bodies that are currently dormant will also come to the fore, because it will be necessary for them in 25 years' time, or another 7 years' time, or maybe 5 years' time. We don't know. So it's almost just like, let life do the upgrading of your software and just go with it. Don't question it. Don't over embrace it. Don't push it away. Just let it do its thing. The other amazing thing about Uranus in Gemini is that because we're going to have this, if we choose to accept the challenge, because we have this closeness and awareness of our thoughts, we're going to clear so much debris that we put into the world by miscommunicating, misunderstanding, all of that kind of thing. So the world is going to feel like it flows more smoothly. Like the experience of moving through life is going to feel seamless. All of us right now, to a certain degree, feel like there's always some kind of like separation or tension just moving through everyday life. Like even just doing the daily tasks feels like you're not fully there, because you're also kind of bracing for something, or bracing to be on, or bracing for an unexpected person to say something nasty to you, or something to upset you. That's going to really kind of just like flow so much more easily if we really get clear on our thoughts, and we really keep our thoughts to ourselves before we are ready to share the highest quality ones, both in our own brains and then obviously with other people. The other thing I will say is that every soul on this earth is at a different point in their journey. So when they talk about old souls and new souls, it's because we cannot judge other people for being quote unquote behind us, because we've been exactly where they are, probably in a previous life. And the journey is actually not linear, because there are people who we've maybe completely written off in terms of being quote unquote conscious or spiritual or interested in any of this kind of stuff, who might come online tomorrow and might even overtake us. And we have to hold space for people like that. So By getting rid of our judgments, we actually make it more possible for those people whose existence is only real because we're seeing them in our movie, their existence is relative to our perception. We have to realize that it's actually more fun if those kinds of people rise too. So instead of distancing themselves with our judgments, we have to train our egos to almost pray that they, come along with us. And in fact, if you really want to stretch your ego, may I see them overtake me, because I know that can only be a good thing for humans overall. That's a good medicine if you struggle with people being behind at any point in your life, which we all go through. And it comes from a place of care because we want people to not be in pain, especially people that we care about. But sometimes our ego can kind of hijack even the best intentions. The other thing about holding space for other people is that because Uranus is in Gemini, and Uranus comes in as this like shocking ball, and it's big energy and it's very forward moving and it doesn't have time to slow down and it's fast, there will be people who are not well equipped or not currently willing to sit with their own thoughts. It's already uncomfortable enough as it is for a lot of people. And we've just had Jupiter just came out of Gemini. So it was expanding our confusion for the last year in the sign of Gemini. Jupiter expands. And so in the last year or so, it's been too many thoughts, too many ideas, too much information, too much communication. It's like reached a peak. And then Jupiter just left. And now Uranus comes in to innovate it all. So the reason why I say this is because there will be people whose mental health is really going to need our help, even if our help is simply having the vision that they get to be strong enough to rise for their own path, to accept their own invitation for their rising, to be given the grace to learn in a soft way. And this is going to be really important, because if we don't choose to sit with our thoughts and face our thoughts and make good quality thoughts and words, we will not benefit from this energy. And because the effects of everything we do is going to be bigger, not in a, there's always ways back from these things, but I just know that the people who give their words and their thoughts away to other people, to other technologies, who think it doesn't cost them a lot, and also people who unwillingly give it away, which we all do. We give our words and our thoughts away to algorithms all day long, because when we consume them, they dictate a thought that we're having, because we're automatically having a thought about something that we didn't necessarily choose. We have no control. Even if someone we follow is going to post something sometime that is a total surprise still, and our reaction to that is what we need to start valuing. Like, is this a reaction that I, as me, with the highest words and thoughts and consciousness, wants to start having? Or do I not want to have a reaction like this, even if it's a judgmental reaction, right? That's only making me either feel small or making me feel justified as like, oh, I was threatened by them, but actually now I'm judging them for not having good enough whatever, so now I feel better. Like, all of that's going to have to go. So if we do let the outside world control our thoughts more than we're letting these kind of dates with ourselves, this stillness, this quiet, to actually make thoughts. Our bodies are factories. We can make thoughts just by choosing them and thinking them and trying them on for size in our bones, in our cells. That's how we can use the inner factory rather than let this like soup of outer factory create the chemicals inside of us, right? And so the chemicals inside of us, everybody in the world, everything we want is because we want to feel good. Any goal is because you think it's going to make you feel good. And so it actually starts with making yourself feel good, and then the goals come afterwards. The feeling good at the deepest, most basic, raw level of human building blocks of consciousness is thoughts and words. So this is going to be our focus now for the next 7 years. And it will show up in lots of different ways and lots of different themes in lots of different parts of life. But we need to have bravery enough to know that this energy is coming, to proactively now, even when it doesn't feel like it's that big of a deal, make time to be with ourselves, to on purpose factory our own thoughts and our own words and clean up everything we think and say. because we will be rewarded, and to not give that away for whatever shiny carrot is promised to you by the outside world, that might be a good thing. Because if you give your words away and you give your ideas away, then you're going to be rewarded somehow. You're going to be part of this ahead of time club, which means you'll always be fine. That's not anything true with a capital T. That's not going to be anything lasting. The only thing that is lasting is your legacy of the thoughts you thought and the words you said and the actions you took. And this is the time. So the most important thing is, can we make this change before we're being forced to, before things get pushing on us hard enough to not give us a choice but to take time to focus on our words and our actions and our thoughts. So realize that you are valuable. Nothing in the world that ever can get invented is more valuable than the humans that invent these things. Nothing in the world that is physicalized is as good as the person who first thought them up, the way they seemed in imagination. So this is the time now to start remembering with a capital R. The truest legacy of the soul is the shiniest possible at any moment in time. Correct thoughts, correct words, correct ideas, correct communication, saying what is only true to you, and if so, not saying anything at all if there's nothing coming. And measuring and trusting that that's what will be rewarded in the end. And I want you to know that we've got this, and we will check in, and it's coming up, and you are here now because this is a challenge that you can rise to. And it's not just a challenge, it's a gift that your soul chose to contend with in this life, because you can become something even more magnificent than what you are already on the other side. Here's to your rising.